I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine you're standing in a pharmacy or health food store and you pick up a bottle of magnesium glycinate. You read the label. It says magnesium glycinate. It looks legitimate. It's recommended by friends. You might have even read about it online. So you buy it, bring it home, take it consistently for weeks or months, and wait for the health benefits everyone talks about. But nothing happens. You don't sleep better. Your energy doesn't improve. Your muscles don't feel better. Or worse, you start experiencing side effects like loose stools or digestive distress that you attribute to aging. So you assume magnesium glycinate simply doesn't work for you. You stop taking it, and you never realize that you were actually taking something that looked like magnesium glycinate but wasn't. Or you were taking it at the completely wrong time. Or you were taking too much, or you were creating dangerous interactions with your medications, or it was accumulating to toxic levels in your bloodstream because your kidneys couldn't process it. This is happening to thousands of seniors right now. Here's what I've observed. Magnesium glycinate has become the trendy supplement that everyone recommends for sleep, muscle health, and general wellness. And magnesium is genuinely important. Absolutely, genuinely important. Your body needs it. Deficiency is real and increasingly common as you age. But here's the problem that nobody talks about. Most seniors taking magnesium glycinate are making critical mistakes that either prevent them from getting any benefit or that actually cause harm. And because these mistakes aren't obvious, because there are no immediate red flags, seniors continue making them, completely unaware that their supplementation is either useless or actively damaging their health. I've seen seniors whose medications aren't working because magnesium is interfering with absorption. I've seen seniors with magnesium accumulating to toxic levels in their bloodstreams because their kidneys can't process it. I've seen seniors taking such excessive doses that they're creating the exact problems they were trying to prevent. I've seen seniors purchasing products labeled magnesium glycinate that contain something completely different. And I've seen seniors take magnesium at the wrong time and wonder why they're not sleeping better. The tragedy is that none of this is necessary. These mistakes are completely preventable, but they require understanding 6 specific issues that most people and most healthcare providers simply aren't talking about. Today, I'm going to walk you through these 6 critical mistakes. I'm not here to tell you not to take magnesium glycinate. I'm here to tell you how to take it correctly so that you actually get the benefits and so that you avoid creating problems while trying to help yourself. These 6 mistakes are serious. Some of them can cause real harm if you're not aware of them. But the beautiful part is that once you understand them, they're easy to avoid. You don't need a prescription. You don't need expensive testing in every case. You just need knowledge. Think about this for a moment. You're taking a supplement because you want to feel better. You want to sleep better, have more energy, support your health. But if the supplement isn't actually reaching your body, or if it's being taken at the wrong time, or if it's interfering with your medications, or if it's accumulating to dangerous levels, then you're not helping yourself. You're wasting money and time at best and potentially creating harm at worst. That's why this matters. I need you to pay attention to what comes next because one or more of these 6 mistakes might be exactly what's happening with your supplementation right now. You might have no idea that you're making these mistakes, but by the end of this video, you'll understand them completely and you'll know exactly how to fix them. The seniors who benefit most from magnesium glycinate aren't the ones taking the most, or the ones taking it most frequently. They're the ones taking it correctly, at the right time, at the right dose, with awareness of their medications and kidney function, with quality products, and with understanding of how it interacts with their diet and other nutrients. You can be one of those people, but it requires understanding these 6 critical mistakes. Let me be direct. If you're currently taking magnesium glycinate, there's a significant chance you're making at least one of these mistakes. If you're considering starting magnesium glycinate, understanding these mistakes now will save you time, money, and potentially protect you from harm. So, stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll understand not just what these mistakes are, but why they matter, how they harm you, and exactly what to do about them. You'll have the knowledge to take magnesium glycinate correctly and safely, and you'll understand why getting these details right is worth the attention and care. This information could add years to your life. It could prevent medication failures. It could protect your kidneys. It could support your sleep, your energy, and your overall health. But only if you understand these mistakes and avoid them. Let's begin. Dosage timing misalignment represents one of the most critical yet overlooked factors determining whether magnesium glycinate supplementation provides therapeutic benefit or delivers minimal results despite consistent consumption. Many seniors take their magnesium glycinate at random times throughout the day, with breakfast, with lunch, whenever they remember, operating under the assumption that as long as they consume the correct total dose daily, timing is irrelevant. This assumption is fundamentally incorrect because magnesium absorption in the intestinal tract is highly dependent on the biochemical environment at the moment of ingestion. When magnesium glycinate is consumed with meals, particularly meals containing calcium-rich foods, whole grains, or leafy greens, it enters a competitive absorption environment. Calcium, iron, and zinc all compete with magnesium for absorption through the same intestinal transport channels. When multiple minerals are present simultaneously, magnesium absorption can be reduced by 30 to 70%, meaning a senior taking 400 milligrams with breakfast might absorb only 120 to 280 milligrams, vastly reducing the dose's therapeutic value. This explains why some seniors take magnesium consistently yet experience no benefits. They're simply not absorbing the mineral effectively. Additionally, magnesium's circadian rhythm alignment determines its efficacy for specific health outcomes. If a senior is taking magnesium for sleep support, one of the primary reasons elderly people supplement, timing becomes absolutely critical. Magnesium exerts its greatest calming, sleep-supporting effects when present in the bloodstream during the hours when the body is naturally preparing for sleep. Taking magnesium in the morning or early afternoon means it's been largely metabolized and excreted by the time sleep arrives, rendering it therapeutically useless for sleep goals despite consistent consumption. The optimal timing protocol for magnesium glycinate is consumption 2 to 3 hours after the last meal and 2 to 3 hours before intended sleep time, allowing absorption without competing nutrients while ensuring magnesium availability precisely when the body is biologically primed for its sleep-supporting effects. This timing specificity transforms magnesium from an ineffective supplement to a genuinely therapeutic intervention. Medication interaction blindness reveals a dangerous gap in health awareness among seniors who supplement with magnesium glycinate without understanding or disclosing this practice to their physicians or pharmacists, creating scenarios where magnesium directly interferes with the absorption and effectiveness of medications critical for managing serious health conditions. Many seniors operate under the false assumption that supplements are benign and inert, posing no risk of interaction with pharmaceutical medications. This belief creates a hazardous situation where magnesium glycinate actively reduces medication efficacy, while the senior remains completely unaware that their supplementation is sabotaging their pharmaceutical treatment. The interaction mechanisms are well documented in pharmacological literature. Bisphosphonates, medications like alendronate prescribed for osteoporosis treatment, require specific pH conditions and timing for proper absorption. When magnesium is consumed within 2 hours of bisphosphonate administration, magnesium binds to the bisphosphonate in the intestinal tract, preventing absorption of the osteoporosis medication. A senior diligently taking their osteoporosis medication while simultaneously supplementing magnesium may absorb only 20–30% of the prescribed dose, essentially rendering their osteoporosis treatment ineffective while believing they're being treated. Quinolone and tetracycline antibiotics suffer similar absorption reductions when magnesium is present. An elderly person taking a fluoroquinolone antibiotic for a serious infection while supplementing magnesium might receive only partial antibiotic exposure, potentially allowing bacterial infections to persist or become resistant. Thyroid medications, including levothyroxine, show reduced absorption when magnesium is consumed simultaneously, compromising thyroid hormone levels in seniors dependent on precise thyroid replacement. Blood pressure medications can have magnified effects when combined with magnesium, sometimes causing dangerous hypotension. Diuretics prescribed for heart conditions create complex interactions with magnesium that can precipitate electrolyte imbalances and cardiac complications. The critical problem is that seniors typically don't inform their healthcare providers about magnesium supplementation because they don't perceive it as significant medication information. Healthcare providers cannot account for supplement-drug interactions they're unaware exist. This creates a silent sabotage scenario where seniors' medications are being undermined without anyone recognizing the problem. Excessive dosing damage exemplifies a widespread supplementation principle permeating health culture. The belief that if a therapeutic dose provides benefit, then doubling or tripling that dose will provide proportionally greater benefit. This linear thinking is biochemically incorrect and creates genuine harm in seniors who consume magnesium glycinate at doses of 600 to 1200 milligrams daily, when optimal therapeutic ranges exist between 200 to 400 milligrams. The biochemical reality is that your body can only utilize a finite amount of magnesium for legitimate physiological functions. Beyond this saturation point, additional magnesium becomes a foreign substance your body must process and eliminate rather than a beneficial nutrient supporting health. When seniors consume excessive magnesium, the first noticeable consequence is gastrointestinal disruption. Magnesium, particularly in excess, exerts osmotic effects in the intestinal tract, drawing water into the bowel lumen. This creates loose stools and diarrhea, which seniors often attribute to aging or other causes rather than recognizing their supplementation as the culprit. Some seniors experience severe diarrhea and electrolyte losses from excessive magnesium, creating dehydration and mineral imbalances that undermine overall health. Beyond digestive effects, excessive magnesium creates kidney stress. Your kidneys must filter and excrete excess magnesium that exceeds your body's requirements. For seniors with already declining renal function, extremely common in the elderly population, this creates additional metabolic burden on organs struggling to maintain filtration capacity. Chronic kidney stress accelerates kidney disease progression in vulnerable seniors. Most paradoxically, excessive magnesium causes the very problems it's intended to prevent. Rather than supporting muscle function, excessive magnesium creates muscle weakness, fatigue, and impaired neuromuscular transmission. Rather than supporting energy, it causes exhaustion. Rather than supporting sleep, it can cause restlessness. This paradoxical effect occurs because your neuromuscular system operates optimally within specific magnesium concentration ranges. When magnesium exceeds these ranges, it dysregulates neural signaling and muscular responsiveness, creating deterioration instead of improvement. Kidney function ignorance represents a critical blind spot in magnesium supplementation practices among seniors, where declining renal capacity, an inevitable consequence of aging that affects the majority of people over 70, renders standard magnesium doses unsafe. Yet seniors continue supplementation without any awareness that their kidneys cannot adequately process and excrete the magnesium they're consuming. The physiological reality is that your kidneys are the primary mechanism for magnesium homeostasis. When you consume magnesium, your body absorbs what it needs for physiological functions, and your kidneys excrete excess magnesium through urine. This system works flawlessly when kidney function is normal, but deteriorates progressively as renal function declines with age. By age 70, most people have experienced a 30 to 40% decline in glomerular filtration rate, the measure of kidneys' ability to filter waste and excess minerals from blood. Many seniors have experienced even greater functional decline. This reduced filtration capacity means your kidneys lose their ability to adequately excrete excess magnesium. When a senior with compromised kidney function consumes standard magnesium doses, the mineral accumulates in the bloodstream and tissues rather than being cleared through urine. Over time, this creates a pathological state called hypermagnesemia, where blood magnesium levels rise to toxic concentrations. Hypermagnesemia creates profound physiological damage. Elevated blood magnesium causes severe muscle weakness, progressing to paralysis in severe cases. It causes cardiac arrhythmias and conduction abnormalities, potentially triggering heart attacks. It causes neurological symptoms, including confusion, altered consciousness, and in severe cases, loss of consciousness and death. The catastrophic aspect is that seniors with declining kidney function often don't know their kidney function is compromised because they haven't had recent testing. They're consuming magnesium supplementation that's accumulating to dangerous levels in their bloodstreams, progressively damaging their cardiovascular and neuromuscular systems while remaining completely unaware of the danger accumulating within them. Calcium-magnesium ratio neglect demonstrates a fundamental misunderstanding among supplement users about how minerals function within the body, not in isolation, but in precise biochemical relationships with each other, where the proportional balance between minerals determines physiological function far more critically than absolute amounts of any individual mineral. Your body doesn't operate with magnesium independently supporting functions separate from calcium's functions. Rather, calcium and magnesium exist in a tightly regulated interdependent relationship where their relative proportions control neural transmission, muscle contraction, bone mineralization, and cardiac function. The optimal physiological calcium to magnesium ratio is approximately 2.1, meaning for every unit of magnesium, your body should ideally contain roughly 2 units of calcium. This ratio isn't arbitrary, it's the biochemical environment your cells evolved to function within. When seniors supplement with magnesium without simultaneously ensuring adequate calcium intake, this carefully evolved ratio becomes skewed toward magnesium dominance. The consequences are profound. Excessive magnesium relative to calcium creates competition at the cellular level for binding sites on proteins and enzymes responsible for critical functions. Calcium absorption becomes impaired as magnesium overwhelms calcium transport mechanisms in the intestine. Calcium is progressively depleted from bones and tissues as magnesium dominant signaling pathways inhibit calcium deposition in skeletal structures. The result is paradoxical bone loss occurring despite bone health intentions. A senior takes magnesium, believing they're supporting bone health, while simultaneously undermining bone density through mineral ratio dysregulation. Beyond skeletal effects, calcium-magnesium ratio imbalance causes severe muscle dysfunction. The calcium-magnesium relationship controls muscle contraction and relaxation cycles. When magnesium dominates, muscle contraction becomes impaired and muscle weakness develops. Cardiac function becomes particularly vulnerable to ratio dysregulation because your heart requires precise calcium-magnesium balance for proper electrical conduction. Magnesium excess relative to calcium causes cardiac arrhythmias, conduction abnormalities, and potentially dangerous heart rhythm disturbances. Seniors correcting magnesium supplementation without simultaneously addressing calcium balance create mineral dysregulation, causing the very health problems they sought to prevent. Quality and form confusion represents a critical vulnerability in supplement purchasing, where seniors, lacking technical knowledge to verify product authenticity, purchase magnesium supplements believing they're acquiring magnesium glycinate, a highly absorbable, well-tolerated form, when they're actually consuming magnesium oxide or poorly formulated blends, providing minimal benefit while causing significant gastrointestinal distress. The supplement industry operates under less rigorous regulatory oversight than pharmaceutical manufacturing, creating opportunities for misrepresentation, mislabeling, and deceptive marketing practices that prey on consumers unable to verify product contents. A bottle labeled magnesium glycinate for $8.99 might contain primarily magnesium oxide, a poorly absorbed form with strong laxative properties, with minimal actual magnesium glycinate. The consumer reads the label, believes they're purchasing magnesium glycinate, takes the supplement, and experiences loose stools or diarrhea. The absorption differences between forms are dramatic. Magnesium glycinate, which is magnesium bound to the amino acid glycine, has bioavailability of 90% or higher, meaning nearly all consumed magnesium is absorbed and utilized. Magnesium oxide has bioavailability of approximately 4%, meaning 96% of consumed magnesium passes through your system unabsorbed, instead exerting osmotic effects in the intestinal tract causing diarrhea. A senior consuming 400 milligrams of magnesium oxide might absorb only 16 milligrams while experiencing laxative effects. They then conclude that magnesium causes digestive problems and discontinue supplementation, when the actual problem was the inferior product formulation. Additionally, cheap supplements often contain contaminants including heavy metals like lead, cadmium, or arsenic that accumulate during manufacturing or from contaminated source materials. Third-party testing, which reputable manufacturers perform, identifies contaminants and verifies actual mineral content. Cheap products frequently bypass third-party testing, exposing consumers to unknown contaminant exposure. Seniors purchasing based solely on price point waste money on ineffective products, while potentially exposing themselves to toxic contamination, all while believing they're making a healthy supplement choice based on the product label. Nutrient depletion cascade reveals a critical paradox in mineral supplementation, where high-dose magnesium, intended to support health, actually creates deficiencies in other essential minerals by monopolizing intestinal absorption pathways and outcompeting minerals that depend on identical or similar transport mechanisms. Your intestinal epithelium possesses limited transport channels for mineral absorption. Multiple minerals, magnesium, zinc, copper, calcium, iron, require similar or identical transporters to cross from the intestinal lumen into bloodstream. When one mineral is present in excess, it saturates these transporters, leaving insufficient transport capacity for competing minerals. A senior consuming 600 to 800 milligrams of magnesium daily is essentially hogging the available transport channels, leaving zinc, copper, and calcium competing for inadequate absorption capacity. The consequence is a counterintuitive situation where consuming excessive magnesium while eating foods containing adequate zinc, copper, and calcium actually results in deficiencies of these minerals. Zinc absorption becomes impaired, creating immune dysfunction, slow wound healing, hair loss, and cognitive decline, problems seniors are already predisposed toward through aging. Copper absorption declines, causing connective tissue weakness, bone fragility, and immune dysfunction despite adequate copper intake. Calcium absorption becomes substantially reduced, which is particularly problematic because seniors simultaneously consuming excess magnesium without adequate calcium create the mineral imbalance discussed previously. This nutrient depletion cascade creates a sinister situation where supplementation intended to enhance health actually undermines health by creating secondary mineral deficiencies. A senior experiencing cognitive decline, increased infection susceptibility, slow healing wounds, and progressive bone loss might attribute these problems to aging, never recognizing that their magnesium supplementation is actively creating the mineral deficiencies causing these symptoms. The depletion cascade is particularly insidious because it develops gradually over months and years, making causal connection between supplementation and emerging health problems difficult to recognize without specific testing for zinc, copper, and calcium status. Excessive magnesium creates a nutritional environment where the body cannot adequately absorb other critical minerals. Sleep timing counterproductivity exemplifies a fundamental misunderstanding among seniors about how magnesium's sleep-supporting effects operate within circadian biology, where consuming magnesium glycinate in morning or early afternoon hours creates a biochemical scenario where the mineral has been largely metabolized and excreted by the time sleep arrives, rendering the supplementation completely ineffective for the sleep goals the senior intended to achieve. Many seniors take their magnesium glycinate with breakfast or at lunch, operating under the assumption that as long as they consume the correct daily dose, the timing doesn't matter for sleep support. This assumption contradicts the biochemical reality of how magnesium functions within your nervous system and how circadian physiology determines hormone and neurotransmitter availability across the 24-hour cycle. Magnesium exerts its calming, sleep-promoting effects through specific neurological mechanisms involving GABA receptor modulation and antagonism of glutamate signaling. These effects are most potent when magnesium is available in the bloodstream during the hours when your body is naturally preparing for sleep, when circulating melatonin is rising and your parasympathetic nervous system is becoming dominant. When magnesium is consumed 12 hours before sleep, at breakfast for someone sleeping at 10 p.m., it has been largely metabolized and excreted through urine long before sleep arrives. Your kidneys filter magnesium from blood into urine continuously, meaning magnesium consumed in morning hours is substantially cleared from your system within 6 to 8 hours. The optimal timing window for magnesium's sleep-supporting effects is consumption within 2 to 3 hours before intended sleep time, when magnesium concentrations can peak in the bloodstream precisely when your nervous system is biologically primed to utilize it for sleep promotion. A senior consuming 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate at breakfast is wasting that supplementation for sleep goals entirely, despite experiencing no apparent side effects that might alert them to the timing problem. They take their magnesium consistently, experience minimal sleep improvement, and mistakenly conclude that magnesium simply doesn't work for them, never recognizing that they've been dosing it at precisely the wrong time. Symptom masking danger reveals a critical healthcare failure where seniors experiencing symptoms like muscle cramps or fatigue self-diagnose these as magnesium deficiency and begin supplementation without medical evaluation, effectively masking underlying pathological conditions requiring actual diagnosis and treatment while wasting time on ineffective self-care. The human tendency towards self-diagnosis and self-treatment becomes particularly problematic in older adults because aging creates multiple concurrent physiological changes that can produce identical symptom presentations but require completely different interventions. Muscle cramps in a senior could indicate true magnesium deficiency but could equally indicate thyroid dysfunction, inadequate calcium intake, medication side effects, electrolyte imbalances from diuretics, dehydration, or neuromuscular diseases requiring specific medical attention. Fatigue and aging could reflect magnesium deficiency, but could equally reflect anemia, thyroid hypofunction, vitamin B12 deficiency, sleep apnea, medication adverse effects, depression, or underlying infections. When a senior begins magnesium supplementation based on self-diagnosis, they experience temporary symptom improvement, in some cases due to placebo effects or because the supplementation happened to address a genuine magnesium deficiency, coincidentally causing those symptoms. However, many seniors experience no improvement or worsening of symptoms while remaining convinced their self-diagnosis was correct. The catastrophic issue is that while taking magnesium glycinate, the senior has ceased investigating actual causes of their symptoms. A thyroid disorder remains untreated and progressively worsens. Medication side effects accumulate unchecked. Electrolyte imbalances deteriorate into dangerous states. Anemia or B12 deficiency progresses toward irreversible neurological damage. The correct approach to muscle cramps or fatigue in seniors requires actual medical evaluation, including history, physical examination, and appropriate laboratory testing to identify actual causes. Magnesium supplementation might be part of treatment if deficiency is documented, but self-medicating based on symptom similarity wastes critical diagnostic time while potentially dangerous conditions progress untreated. Seniors using magnesium as symptom masking delay proper diagnosis and treatment of serious underlying conditions that require specific interventions beyond mineral supplementation. Bioavailability blocking habits represent a prevalent yet unrecognized cause of magnesium supplementation failure, where seniors, taking magnesium glycinate while simultaneously consuming foods and substances that inhibit magnesium absorption systematically reduce their actual magnesium bioavailability by 60 to 70%, rendering their consistent supplementation nearly ineffective despite diligent adherence to their supplementation routine. The bioavailability of any nutrient depends not solely on the amount consumed, but equally on the biochemical environment in which that nutrient exists within your digestive tract. Magnesium absorption requires specific pH conditions, appropriate ratios of competing minerals, and absence of compounds that bind magnesium and prevent its intestinal transport into the bloodstream. High phytate foods, including whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds, contain phytic acid, a compound that binds magnesium in the intestinal lumen, preventing absorption. When a senior consumes magnesium glycinate alongside whole grain bread, beans, or almonds, the phytic acid in these foods binds a substantial portion of the magnesium, rendering it unabsorbed. Excessive dietary fiber, particularly soluble fiber, can also impair magnesium absorption by altering intestinal pH in transit time. Calcium supplements taken simultaneously with magnesium compete for absorption through identical intestinal transporters, reducing magnesium bioavailability. Polyphenol-rich foods and beverages, including coffee, tea, and chocolate, contain compounds that bind magnesium and reduce absorption. A senior consuming 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate might absorb only 120 to 160 milligrams due to bioavailability blocking habits they're entirely unaware of. They take their magnesium consistently, experience no symptomatic improvement, and conclude magnesium supplementation is ineffective for them, never recognizing that their eating patterns are systematically preventing absorption. Optimal magnesium absorption requires consuming it on an empty stomach or with foods low in phytates and competing minerals, 2 to 3 hours removed from fiber-rich foods and calcium supplements, in an acidic digestive environment that facilitates mineral solubility and intestinal transport. I genuinely believe that as you implement these 6 principles, you're going to experience improvements in sleep quality, energy levels, muscle function, and overall well-being. And more importantly, you're going to feel confident that you're supplementing correctly, that you're supporting your health intelligently rather than randomly hoping for benefits. Your body deserves supplementation done right. You deserve to experience the genuine benefits that magnesium glycinate can provide. And you have the knowledge now to make that happen. Start tonight. Make that call to your pharmacist. Write down your medications. Check your dosing. Evaluate your timing. Assess your product quality. Know your kidney function. These aren't difficult things. They're just specific things, and they make all the difference. Thank you again for your attention. I'm genuinely grateful for the opportunity to share this information with you. Your health matters, your supplementation matters, and you have the knowledge and ability to get this right. Go forward with confidence. Get these details right. Experience the benefits magnesium glycinate can genuinely provide. And remember, you have far more control over your health than you've been told. Thank you and good luck. Your best health is waiting for you.